10 seconds.
Yeah, I think the one pick maybe we didn't touch too much. This Razor pick coming out kind of early. I think the one thing with SMG is they do flex this occasionally onto Raging Potato in the off lane, but they are picking it without knowing like any of the side lane cores. Usually you're picking Razor in response to that kind of melee off laner, but with Dawnbreaker, particularly with T1, they played this mostly in that support role in like 4 or 5 positions. So for SMG, they kind of picked this Razor in a spot where very easily T1 can just pick side lane cores that aren't afraid of Razor.
Yeah, I'm curious how SMG will respond. I know Pylai, like one of his favorite heroes is Io. Oh, they're not going to do it, but I was thinking Io Razor was something Boom used to run in Tour 1 quite often, and it was very successful. But they'll take Treant. Surprisingly versus T1 since it's usually their hero. But that makes something a core here. That makes either the Coddle or the Clock a core here.
Oh, yeah, true.
You're still banking on the clock. You're like,
I'm ready. I don't think they should because I think it's terrible into TB and Puck. But
please do it.
But please do it. I mean, the clock cogs leash at level 20, okay? So
sell me on it.
You can get the Puck. Actually, no, she can still orb out, right?
You're selling me.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking.
I can't sell you anymore.
Okay,
I don't think they should do it.
Okay.
It at least gives them 2 options here. You can do the Coddle Clockwork lane with Clock 3, or you can do Coddle. Coddle mid sounds very nice against the TB, particularly. I think what the Treant brings to the table is this BKB piercing disable, because, you know, TB must buy BKB game, you know, otherwise Coddle is just causing you all kinds of problems, particularly core Coddle, and that's where you've got the overgrowth, at least as a pseudo BKB counter, or at least a way to disengage. You're not going to necessarily kill TB, but you can disengage.
Yeah, I mean, last game we had the Coddle get a sheep stick with all this farm. I do think it should be a Coddle core because that's what's going to best deal with Terrorblade. It's overwhelming magic burst against him, which he hates to play into.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I definitely don't think Coddle should Clock should be a core here. Sorry, but I do want to see like. I guess they're not going for late game here on SMG at all, so they might just pick
when have they ever?
Yeah. We might just see like a Beastmaster. Oh no, it's banned.
Yeah, a lot of the Darkseid, they're going to just target Raging Potato now.
Oh, I love a good Darkseid.
I think Lycan feels rough into the TB.
Yeah.
So you've got, what, Coddle in lane probably? I guess they could swap the Treant and Coddle support lanes if they want, but...
I think the best thing I see for T1 is them picking an offlaner, just because you could put Dawn there, but I think like Dawn and Marcy as supports are both so strong that you just take something here. You're probably going to have like 2 winning side lanes, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think you're looking at what's that hero to pair with Marcy that also is going to be good against something like a Razor.
Yeah.
Like that's why the Batrider and Marcy I've seen in Eastern Europe really do well. Nature's Prophet maybe not a Marcy combo, but it's a hero that again matches up well against the Razor. So I think they're just looking at this like we want to pick probably a ranged offlaner, or like if you're doing melee offlane, it needs to be like the Mars type hero where you can always spear away this and break the static link.
Yeah.
Although I don't love the Mars here. I think they have enough team fight.
I mean,
they need more damage.
What he wants. We'll see.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just does super standard heroes like, oh yeah, I'm playing Sand King this game. Like, okay. Or sometimes he'll just do something really weird, like first phase Necrophos.
Dude, Necrophos was legit something I was thinking of here. Like ranged offlaner, Veno, Necro, I don't know.
Isn't it really sad into core
Coddle?
Coddle, yeah.
That does sound kind of sad.
And they have overall last pick on SMG, so it's a little bit scary.
Dire team pick.
Please be core. Oh no, it's probably core Dawnbreaker with a Snapfire in it.
Yeah, Cuckoo Dawnbreaker.
I would imagine that. If it is a core snap, I'll be mega happy, like so happy actually.
Oh, Delo, but why would you prefer that?
Because I like playing offlane Snapfire.
Okay.
Yeah, that's literally it. I also think she's just
maybe there was something
I
else.
think she's just a hero that's fun with money as well. You get the faster blink shard. You can sometimes go Ags if you feel like. Yeah, I think that's really fun. I wouldn't want it on in this game, but I mean, I just think the hero is cool as hell.
Yeah. And this potentially puts Marcy in the 5 role, and we're talking about all these Marcy combos. Marcy's TP sounds like a pretty damn scary safe lane.
Terrifying,
yeah. Like TP, one of his things is he pops Metamorphosis and heroes just run away from you, but getting that bonus movement speed sounds really nice for him. as a result, SMG bust out the mid one drow. We've seen this a couple times before, and this puts Razor offlane. This is a fun little flex.
It's going to be interesting to see those little matchups, the side lanes, how they go, but it's also more enjoyable when there's 5 of us here. So let's bring our yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did the right maths, right? I think
Sorry,
I did quick maths.
I'm British. I had bad maths for a second. I'm sorry.
It's all right. There is 5 of us. It is Mike and John as well. Thankfully for our final series. John, you can start. Do you like where this is going? Are you excited for the mid one Dro and the Whitemon Marcy?
Yeah, I think the Drow has a really good spot here, but I'm more excited for T1. I think that Gabby Whitemon lane looks pretty good to me. Like, Marcy TB is pretty aggressive. If they manage to get a good angle, and of course Raging might make that tough, along with Afu, but if they find the angle, I think you can see a lot of aggression down there.
Yeah, I don't particularly like the Drow. I feel like they've got plenty of ways to catch it this game with the puck and the Marcy and the door, everything. They can just catch it so easily. So I feel like SMG, they're probably going to fall apart once you get past that mid game.
Okay, interesting. Now, Sheep, you don't like it when I ask you to predict teams who's going to win. You don't like the first blood. So who's going to take first tower?
I don't want to answer that. I'm really excited for this Cuckoo
trying.
offlane dog.
I'm trying.
I don't know. Last time mid one was on his Drow, he threw the game. So let's see what happens.
All right, will you answer my question, guards, quickly?
TB, I guess.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
sure.
Mike and
TV's
John...
going to take first tower.
Yeah,
I think TB's going to own.
Hopefully
Yeah,
Mike and John will also
yeah.
answer my question as we head into game 1 between T1 and SMG.
Well, thank you very much, Nat. I will answer your question, and I, in fact, believe that SMG will take the first tower. Jonathan, go on.
Yeah, it feels a bit quirky pushing into Treant Protector. I think on that basis alone, it feels like SMG should be able to shove out a little bit better with the protection of the Treant. It prevents their own push. They've got the Kotl, so they can de-shove really nicely, and that should lead up there. Of course, we do have a little bit of a matchup that I don't know if they really discussed, but Raging Potato up against his old friends, Gabby in particular. So Gabby already targeting Raging Potato there. Good luck, Boss Bimbo. No response. Raging is all business. Or was AFK at the draft. You know, he's mentioned that in Tour 2, I think, or Tour 1, where he just kind of walks away during drafting phase. So one of those two. He is at least in lane, so there it is.
But he didn't walk away that time, John. You and I saw it. He's transitioned now. He doesn't go outside anymore. He just smokes right at the damn table because that's how stressful it's been right on the side of the dive these days. Bot lane. Actually, it's a stressful start here for Gabby on T1 as they will secure first blood here for Raging Potato. Very nice start, and that should reduce some of the stress that Raging's been having.
Yeah, you know, Gabby did say good luck, Bimbo. Raging replies with a kill, so a nice start already for SMG. Whitemon playing tag. Doesn't manage to quite steal the rune away, but does get some good damage onto Moon. So already down to less than half HP, gonna have to start topping those tangos. And the rest of SMG will just kind of run around, play tag. Whitemon's still around though, but they should split up in those lanes. And this is the SMG we all know. You know, they love playing aggressive, they love looking for those early opportunities. First Blood sets them up pretty nicely.
It certainly does. We will start with the top lane, and I think this is going to be a very strong duo here from T1. Like, you've got Zephyr and Cuckoo on the Dawnbreaker Snapfire. We've seen it before, right? Like, you can start with the Starbreaker and go into a cookie later on. You've got the Scatterblast slow as well to set up for a nice Starbreaker. And while you do have Pylite Die on the Clockwork to kind of cancel off the Starbreaker with the Battery Assault, if mid one does get closed on, it's going to be tough to survive, though. Pylite Die, so far doing a very good job of dealing with Zephyr here on the Snapfire. But my point is, John, you get cookied as mid one on this trial, you're as good as dead.
Yeah,
Bot
he
lane,
does
though.
have...
Fu? Oh, never mind, John. He's going to be all right.
You are seeing that coming true now, though. This poses there, Metamorphosis up. You can apply a lot of damage onto either of these heroes. And down the line, you could even maybe get a value point in Sidekick. Sure, you know, you don't really want to max it out. You want to play with a Dispose and Rebound potential, but with a core like TB, lots of value to get there from the Sidekick, even in laning. So we'll see what they opt to go for. Afu does have the return on hand, has the headrest. I think both Pause 4s have picked up the headrest to go into lane. We had that discussion before, you know, salves are gone. Headrest is the new in thing for supports, Mike. You're seeing it right now.
Very, very good. Something I've been building on Warlock recently, Jonathan. Very, very boring, but, you know, it does the job. So happy days for these Pos ones that don't want to buy salves for themselves. Or at least for Raging Potato this time. Happy days for him. How's that mid lane matchup going? A Moon versus Carl here on this mid park. I think Moon, arguably one of the best mid-coddle players that we've seen, especially in this region. One of the ones that was kind of the original mid-coddle, and he does tend to do a fantastic job on this hero. Doing pretty well so far, though. 14-0, comparison to the 8-0 of the puck. You'd have to argue Moon probably just has an advantage in this mid lane matchup.
It's not too much Carl can do. Moon's just off to a great start. Secures the water runes as well. Doesn't give Carl the opportunity to go for an early top-up while regening up. And he's just farming. Not much the puck can really do to stop that tree. You can dodge, illuminate, but the pot will still get what it wants a lot faster. And that does lead to a nice foundation for SMG to get a launching point from. We are taking a look up top. Again, the one thing that protects mid one is that this is, you know, a melee off lane here up against a Drow, so it's relatively easy to just Frost Tower, run away. You really do have to work that angle in with a Celestial Hammer and Starbreaker to kind of connect with Cookie. They're not going to be able to find that. And so far, beyond that first blood earlier on, just a little bit of poking and prodding, but both sides are kind of just finding what they can in these lanes.
Absolutely. Kind of like a tight spring here, Jonathan. Could unwound at any moment between these two teams, and just a matter of where the aggression starts, really. Bot lane, you'll see Whitemon just constantly chasing down Arfu, but unable to do too much, as of course Gabby wants the farm, but now with the Metamorphosis pop, they are going to try. They do have Dispose available, and it's a double stun out from Whitemon, but Raging still going to run. Instead, Arfu maybe endanger himself as they do start the static link off, and Whitemon is going to be just fine. Arfu going to give his own life away here to Gabby. Make sure Raging Potato does remain protected. Gabby quite low in HP, but oh, I was gonna say Whitemon might hand the salve over. He doesn't though. He's gonna jump right back in. What a play from Whitemon.
Yeah, he sees that opportunity. He knows Gabby has the full wand with 10 charges on, so he regens himself, gets to jump back in, and punches Raging Potato for still playing that lane. Great kills being picked up by T1, and like you mentioned earlier on, Mike, like a coil waiting to be sprung, and that tension does unfold, and T1 finds itself a pretty good bounce back, especially considering Gabby gave away that first blood. Having a great time on the recovery here for the TB. They tried to make a play up top onto Cuckoo, but trapping in Dawnbreaker with a hammer is pretty tough.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Whitemon, he does get a nice little sentry ward on the Ancient Cap, just blocks it off and just denies himself over. Doesn't want to spend any more money on Regen than he has to, rather just the free reset. And obviously you aren't going to go for kills anyway without Gabby having the Metamorphosis up anyway. So we'll just kind of get some items up here for Gabby. Still, other lanes still very quiet. I mean, we did see a kill onto, I believe it was Parlay Die earlier on, but too big of a deal. Just the pulse 5 clock going down there, and well, it should be a rather strong lane, this Drow Clockwork, but it does feel somewhat impossible against the Dawnbreaker as Arfu gonna get chased down now as well, but they just don't have the damage right now. Not without the meta. Raging gonna try and just punish Gabby here, but the Dispose, it's going to be out from Whitemon, and oh, Gabby going to be just fine. In fact, Whitemon, he'll hand over a Tango to Gabby.
Yeah, if you want it to be truly sacrificial, you know, you plant the tree for your core as well. Gabby does have a spare tree, but does opt to save it. Jump out, really aggressive under the tier 1.
Very aggressive indeed. Whitemon might just end up dropping for this. One more or two more hits will do it. In fact, the Leech Seed will get it done here for Arfu. So happy days for SMG, picking off the Marcy. Whitemon, it was a very aggressive jump in. I'm not sure what he was trying to get done there.
Yeah, maybe just trying to work the angle, maybe thinking the creep wave would aggro in, so you'd have a little bit more room to look for an opening. Gabby's Metamorphosis was still fairly far off. SMG not going to be asking those questions, so Mike, they're happy enough with picking that up. And they're still having that strong start for Moon. He's getting his own stacks up. He's starting to clear out slowly but surely on that Pottle. Still has a good lead over the Puck. You do have Carl's level 6 up, so there is a Dream Coil threat. He does find that opportunity to rotate, but isn't really gunning for it.
Gonna drop. Raging, though, still going for a fight here, and Gabby will just drop. Raging, he'll be happy with the trade that time around. Even taking the killing spree away here from the Terror Blade. So, again, Raging Potato, he will lose his trade, but if it does mean he can get the Terror Blade, he'll be more than happy with that.
It's a much more worthwhile trade for SMG. Getting that solo EXP as well for Raging is big, and of course killing the core, better than the support. They're still kind of balancing out their lanes here as well. At the very least, Whitemon does get some room to get some levels up. Marcy does want to kind of get the levels up, and get the Unleash going, get the higher threat of Dispose and higher threat of Rebound going as well. For SMG, Again, you're still getting that steady build-up. As long as the action spills out in the side lanes, your Kotl is still not being targeted. You do have decent reach with the Mercy here, and Moon is just allowed to farm. He's gonna hit his earn timing, and once that's up, he can start running around looking for kills. Lots of good heroes to connect to, and lots of ways for them to pick off, especially once the level 6 creep up here. Pilot Eye still far away from that hook shot, but once you have the threat of hook shot on top, you can certainly start to threaten as well with your Kotl with a full travel sub.
Yeah, I suppose that is one of the things with this draft from SMG, right? Like, there is going to be a hell of a lot of reliance on Moon to be able to kind of carry you through this game up until mid one is ready. And the way the net worth's going for Moon, he's off to a good start already. Just taking constant stacks away here in the jungle. Though props to Carl, he is keeping up in net worth quite nicely, but see, against the Keeper of the Light, there's only so much you can do. Kind of impossible to just outright keep up here with the Kotl as the puck. So 4-4. No more kills coming out yet. Again, top lane, while I thought it might be aggressive, just due to the +5 clockwork, they just aren't able to go in here on T1, and it doesn't seem like mid one at all is quite interested in going for a kill attempt, because you can always just jump out of the cogs anyway. Just not bothering, as bot lane, they're going to find Arfu on that tree and protector, and with the sidekick handed over to Gabby, they're going to have plenty of damage for this. The Arfu will go for a bit of a run, as Gabby will try to cut him off, but Arfu gives the tips over. And that'll be enough for him. Arfu's fine.
Yeah, just manages to bail out. Not quite enough damage on Gabby just yet. You manage to stall out, drag Gabby away from the creep wave. A bit of an intrusion here from T1 onto Moon. Also not able to really lock into that kill. Double damage on Carl. Wants that opportunity, but very hard to find. Moon just playing on top here, and knowing when he's being dove in, just goes back to farming.
So he does. Into the triangle he goes, and should realize that there is a sentry ward blocking the ancient camp very soon here on this Kotl. Meanwhile, nice scan out from SMG. He's actually going to catch Zephyr and Carl making their way over towards the top lane. See, mid one does not want to be around here if the puck is coming, and, well, that he is. Pilai Die, though, is being chased down here by Carl. They won't actually see the puck on their way, but they assume he's there. And he does end up TPing out anyway, so Carl not going to find anything for his trouble. Meanwhile, bot lane, Whitemon, well, he gets jumped there for a moment, but of course he could just kind of jump his way out. And that he does with the rebound, and they aren't able to actually hold him down without overgrowth being available.
You are seeing that early push kick in from SMG, shoving in the bot. He did make that prediction. SMG looking pretty good here, although. Rotation from Carl.
Yeah, raging. Chased up. They've got the coil, but they'll dispose first. Eventually, still holding on to that coil, as Cuckoo's going to come in now, and in fact, they have enough. They'll use the coil up for that secondary kill onto Arfu, but a nice blinding light away from Moon. Gonna make sure Carl cannot chase down this tree and protector. But they already found the bigger target anyway, so they're more than happy. In fact, they might even find Pilai Die, but not quite. He does manage to pick up the haste route.
Does manage to get out of dodge, denied a refill from Carl, preventing any more aggression from the side of T1. SMG, I don't think they mind all too much. Sure, you drop Raging, you kind of want that build up on the Razor here. Moves on to Carl, though.
Cogs pushback. Pilai Die, I don't think he would have been able to hold Carl in anyway, so not too big of a deal, as it seems like Raging's going to stick around here now in the mid lane. Let's take over the mid lane matchup. I mean, Pilai Die will just rotate towards the top side instead. It's a bit of a shame here for mid one, considering he couldn't really abuse the Drow clock combo, at least quite yet, because again, you had two mobile heroes in that top lane against them. But I suppose he is still farming nicely here in the safe lane, and there's not really too much contest here for the Drow Ranger yet.
Yeah, you're not slowing down the Drow, but at the same time, the Drow doesn't really flash farm all too fast anyway. Multi-shot is at the ready, but isn't really able to dip into the jungle to get that farm. And SMG finds a free tier 1 bot, so they do find that early tower, though.
Oh, I think I might have just jinxed mid one. Carl just walks up, freely gets a coil off, and he literally just walked up and did it, John. Just no kind of rotation, no game sense there to try and avoid it, and there's a very easy pickup for T1. He's now bot lane. They might try to apply some pressure, but Dispose is there. Arfu, in fact, never mind, Pilai Die. He's going to go for a hook shot into the cogs and battery assault onto Gabby, who's going to have to try and fight back, but with the battery assault, it's very challenging. And now Moon's here to pick off the TB. SMG getting a counter kill onto the enemy POS 1, and well, this time around T1 not ready for it.
Yeah, I think the big thing for SMG, whenever they find these kills, it's easier for them to shove in and force an issue onto an objective. They drop their top as they're not able to really defend, but now they can swing around for mid and still keep that aggression going.
They're going to try. Moon running like a madman right now with those boots of travel up. Even has the Spirit Vessel available, so this is a great timing now for SMG. They'll group up mid tier 1 tower to drop, and well, there is going to be a quick pause out here from Cuckoo. I don't see how they defend this mid tier 1 though. It seems like it's just set to fall, and that's a big pickup for SMG.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of map space. They can invade that bot jungle, get the farm they need to build up on mid 1 and just deny a lot of farm away from the side of T1. As you mentioned, no real options to defend. Dream Coil still 10 seconds away. You could maybe Solar Ring and Solar Guardian in, but it doesn't feel like you have the follow through, especially not without the kisses. You need the damage flying out. The Snapfire is a lot of that at this point. And Gabby's not going to be walking up without that Metamorphosis, which he did die with. So, big opening for SMG. Again, piling onto that early aggression that they love to play into. You look at Moon's build-up here, Mike. He is going for an early BKB on the Kotl into an early Hex. So he just wants to keep the aggression, knows they have this insanely good early timing, and wants to keep pushing it.
Very smart decision there from Moon to build into that BKB early, I think. Against the draft of T1, they'll have nothing to get through it as now Cuckoo in danger. He's going to be able to get himself out thanks to the rebound of Whitemon. SMG still on the hunt. They do have a hook shot up on Pylai Die if they can find themselves a target. Instead, they do find a nice little ancient stack for themselves to try and take, and SMG, they'll get started immediately. No hesitation as Pylai Die will try to get the vision out with the rocket flare, and now the hook shot in. They've got the Marcy Whitemon. He already rebounded, and he's gonna drop. As Pylai Die will try and chase for a little bit more. Unable to hold down Carl, but again, they are pretty much here to try and secure this ancient stack, and that they will. No contest to come from T1.
Good try.
In fact, never mind. Coil is committed by Carl into the Mortimer's Kisses, but do they actually find anyone? No. Everyone's fine from SMG.
Yeah, no follow through. Didn't manage to connect with the Solar Guardian on Cuckoo. Not the best position for the puck to be in to get a good Solar Guardian on top. And that's two pretty big ults committed from T1. The Kiss is probably the longer cooldown that you're worried about. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to have that damage follow through from your snap. More time for SMG to kind of work the map. They don't have too many long cooldowns themselves. Longest one is probably Overgrowth. Hook shot for Pylai is going to be back up. If they want to keep that aggression up, they can. And they are working the map, again, invading the bot jungle because the tier 1 top, the tier 1 bot and mid are taken. So SMG just choking out T1 slowly but surely. There's still some farm space for Gabby up top, but it's not going as quickly as you'd want. Moon's still way above everyone else, even Raging coming out on top here as well.
Mid lane. Illuminate's going to fly right through Zephyr. Pylai Die obviously not going to hook shot into the tier 2, but Whitemon, he's in trouble now. Chase is on, but instead, no, they see Cuckoo. They want the bigger target. Whitemon is around to try and help out with the rebound, but is not going to be able to get there thanks to the gust of mid 1. And that'll mean Cuckoo is going to drop here on the Dawnbreaker. It's T1 unable to respond once again with this draft. Now the hook shot. Pylai Die right on target. Has found Whitemon. And that'll be another hit for SMG.
Yeah. And again, they just love to play aggressive this side of SMG. They're just constantly going forward. They have mid 1 round. They use him as bait. They secure his position with all the heroes in the world. And T1 just aren't able to respond just yet. They want that build up on Gabby. They want a little bit more up here on Carl as well. Until that point, SMG has a lot of openings. BKB for Moon is almost done. Gonna feel really good on that Keeper of the Light relatively soon. Raging, his own BKB is also gonna line up at that same timing. Maybe a bit early. So you're pretty much ready to go with 2 big cores with BKBs. Mid 1, you know, it's still kind of building up in the Drow. Had a slower start in this lane, but is number 3 now. T1 trying to get a chase, but they can't even catch Afu fully here.
They're gonna try. I mean, Carl's got the Dream Coil if he wants, but Overgrowth's gonna lock him down. Carl, he needs a way out. He's gonna try and Waning Rift his way out with an orb, but surely the gust is gonna be enough. Great setup from Afu. It's T1. I'm not sure what they're trying to do here, but it's a complete mess for them. It's Cuckoo now. Well, he'll try to run out of there, but the Illuminate gonna fly right through him. Zephyr, Well, he's going to get cogs here by Parlay Die, and well, he's going to stand his ground and try to fight this one out. It's a slow process from SMG, but they'll get another. And this is all off the back of Moon, Jonathan. On this Keeper of the Light, he's just enabling this draft to do whatever the hell they want. Because right now, T1, they have no chance to fight SMG.
There's just so much magic damage coming up that you can't even look for an opportunity for Gabby to come in. He doesn't have the stats to live through a lot of that burst or sustained magic damage SMG's bring out. And T1, they look for an opportunity. They try to chase out. Afu just hides in the tree line. Can't even chase down the tree and gets the good lineup that they need for SMG to make the play. And now Raging has his BKB up. He can just run around freely. Again, Moon, pretty much done at this point. Just needs a couple of camps left. And for T1, it's all in on Gabby. He's probably only here really farming up, and Carl is still getting a trickle of gold in. But it's starting to feel like it's really all in on the Terrorblade. And the TV versus Drow matchup is a little bit harder to manage. Drow kind of outranges you, has a good way of piercing through your armor that you naturally have with a marksmanship as well. And even though mid one had a slower lane, he's ahead in net worth as well. So he's going to need some item time a little bit quicker. T1, we saw some good plays coming out from them. The combination of Dream Coil plus Kisses were good early on, but they haven't been able to find those opportunities. They need to be able to catch some of these heroes out. Even if you just kill one at this point with the Kisses, you just take it.
Oh, drag back with the blinding. Cuckoo's gone. The T1, they're all over the place this game one, John. A complete mess here from this Radiant team as SMG, they're going to move into that bottom tier 3 tower. They've hit their timing, sure, but T1, they have not played this well. That's for sure.
Nah, they're just avoiding. They're just trying to build up for Gabby. And in that sense, they are achieving their objective. Gabby is managing to farm, but they're not able to do anything else. It's just a stall game.
Oh, overgrowth out Afu. Perfect initiation. Hook shots off the mark. Is it going to matter? Carl in trouble on that puck. Trying to phase shift out of there, but he's not going to make it. Or even Cuckoo just trying to save, but can't do anything. So at least there's no creep wave here for SMG. T1 though, can they actually defend? The creep wave's incoming. Raging will frontline for them. Onto the bot racks they go, and well, Gabby, he's popped the meta, but he can't actually stand there and hit people. The Illuminate keeps healing them up. Look at Whitemon.
Oh,
Whitemon's gone.
Yeah, it's not at the point where the Terrorblade just feels free to join in. No Manta, BKB still a long way away as well. And that's just going to lead to a really early set of racks coming out from SMG. Tier 2 still protects mid, Tier 1 protects top. So they can't go for anything more, but this is a big opening. They've established this 8k lead early on. They have these early BKBs up. They're at this point where mid 1 is just outranging even the Terrorblade Metamorphosis with that early Dragonlance. And they don't have a clean way of jumping. We thought Carl would kind of pick up that role on the puck, getting the initiation, but he doesn't even have his Blink or Yule's up. Just lacking the tools to clear the backline. And SMG, they're just on point. Their movement, their aggression, it's lining up. All they need to do now is kind of seal the deal. Now, don't give any openings to T1. And if they manage to keep this momentum, it feels good.
I feel like you're implying something, Jonathan. You're implying something here, John. I can tell.
Look, let's face it. Raging said it himself, right? They have a tendency to maybe get a little over-ambitious or overconfident sometimes. It looks like they're reeling that in. They're going for the safe play onto Roshan. They still have a Tier 2 to clear mid, Tier 1 to clear top, but they're playing it very clean. This is SMG keeping up the aggression while also knowing their limits to an extent. And again, for T1, this is tough because it feels like they're not going to get an opening unless SMG hands them one.
I mean, again, I've got to give props to Moon because Moon's really the one enabling this draft of SMG with this Keeper of the Light, and just the rate he's farmed at, how great he is on this mid coddle. It's been impossible to fight them. Every time you initiate, there's another Illuminate to heal them up on the side of SMG, and had he not hit that timing and just kind of dominated the mid lane here against Carl, we probably wouldn't be seeing a game so one-sided, but well, at least for now, I give most props to Moon on SMG. As mid 1, he'll get started into the mid tier 2 tower. They've got a siege creep to help things out. Eventually, this tier 2 going to go uncontested from T1. I mean, sure, you're finding farm on Gabby, but he's just still too far away. The T3 tower now under siege, and T1 going to be forced to try and fight once again on their high ground.
And the push coming out from SMG is just so quick. They can sustain the creep wave as well.
And Carl's trying. Arfu not going to go for the overgrowth this time around. It just, no matter how much damage they take, John, another Illuminate flies through. Carl, what's this Dream Coil for exactly? Hook shot out. Pylai die. He'll initiate. Are they going too far? SMG, they might lose raging immediately, and they do. Overgrowth was there from Arfu, but hits nothing, as now they can take the fight. Pylai die, gonna drop, in goes Carl, onto the tree protector. Arfu's gonna go down a mid one. He's being chased, he does have the Aegis up though, and is still not dropping that first life. And I guess this is what you were talking about, John. Like, they could have just accepted the Dream Coil was used and just reset, but for some reason they go in?
Yeah, they overextend. They overextend, Mike. They feel a bit confident going up, saying, all right, no follow through for the Dream Coil. And they get Raging dragged a bit too far back and kind of get punished. Good gold swing out for T1. They hold onto their mid-high ground, and they are getting that build up onto Gabby, starting to build into that Scotty now on the Terrorblade. So more stats to have to deal with. A little bit more strength means that the Kotl can't just instantly gun him down with a Cult of Illuminate. Still, SMG feeling confident. They smoke up once more. A quick shot at the ready for Pylai die. Could see a big kill.
Oh, right under vision. Pylai die. Right on target. Gabby, he's the big one. No Sunder. Just can't come out with the battery assault. The sad thing was as well, John, that camp that he hooked through, it's been blocked for that long, and it just hasn't been dewarded. So nothing blocked Pylai die hooking Gabby there. There's now Zephyr. He's going to TP out just fine, but it's a high ground defense without your TB.
Yeah, and even if he was around with buyback, you don't have the Metamorphosis ready. They can just keep shoving in the creep wave. The damage is there from mid one. Age is still up for 2 minutes. A lot of time here for mid one to play.
Nice cast out from mid one. Keep in mind, the mid lane is a bit more challenging for SMG to try and push in, because Arfu doesn't have a tree line he can play around to try and get a nice overgrowth off, and he doesn't have anything like a blink up yet either. So it is a lot harder to rely on an overgrowth setup here from Arfu. If he does manage to land a nice one, well, props to him, but it shouldn't be that easy this time. Once you get back up to the top lane, it might be a different story, but down at the mid lane, not so much.
T1 using this time to kind of get his smoke out, maybe try to get control back bot, or look for an angle. Every spell's back up, Kisses, Dream Coil, Solar Guardian at the ready, so they can try to work in. It's just that SMG are holding that high ground on the triangle really well here, cutting off any sort of angle.
Cuckoo. It's going to be obvious he's around the area. He has smoked up though, so they can't see him. Tough times coming for T1 though, John. There's a double damage that's about to be spotted here by Arfu. Mid one immediately just rushing towards that double damage. They do still have 50 seconds left on the Aegis, so it'd be interesting to see what they can get done here. All the creep waves are pushed out, so T1, they've done a great job of delaying things out a little bit. The Aegis should expire as they approach the high ground, so they might have to settle for the top tier 2 tower instead. Which Raging Potato, he has already begun. But they won't have a secondary life if they want to go high ground again. And SMG might be the wisest to just try and play this safely till next Roshan.
Yeah, could just wait, maybe find that tier 2 top and kind of reset, take control of the map, keep their farm advantage up. You hit some big spikes in T1 though. Blink up on Carl, allowing that reach into the Drow, and a blink up on Whitemon as well, looking for that cheeky disposed play perhaps with a Dream Coil. So you have some potential to be aggressive on T1 now. Of course, mid 1 is protected with his BKB as the Aegis did expire. I do want to point out, Mike, he did drop a Slipper of Agility while disassembling his Dragon Lance. So he's got a piece of trash in the mid lane by the ramp, just littering a little bit here for mid one. Doesn't matter, they'll go for a smoke play anyway.
That's terrible. You'll see it now. Oh, he's going to pick it back up. He's a good Samaritan, Jonathan. He's a good Samaritan.
You know,
it was an accident.
That's a nice segue there. There's a story in the Philippines that our national hero Jose Rizal threw a slipper into the river. He lost a slipper in a river and just threw the other one. So someone finds a pair, you know? Maybe mid one should have left both slippers so someone would find a nice pair of slippers for their feet, you know?
So hold on, he actually threw the other one on purpose just for the sake of somebody finding them? Or it was just by coincidence they found him?
No, it's like, you know, he lost the slipper, and in his wisdom, he's like, all right, I lost the slipper. I'll just throw the other one in. So if someone finds it, they'll have a pair. I forget the lesson of the story, and it probably sounds better in Filipino, but you know, there you go, Mike.
Right. Well, could you explain to me why he was wearing slippers in the first place, Jonathan?
It's the
Outdoors by a
Philippines.
river.
We wear slippers. That's what we wear outdoors. We wear flip-flops. That's what we do.
Okay, but they're different to slippers, John. You know, your flip-flops are different. Moon? Top lane? Hold on a minute. Could be a very good setup here. Carl, he's going to get side device up. Moon, once again setting up into the hook shot of Pile Die. Cookie, gonna save Carl for a moment, but Moon is on the chase for that orb as the Illuminate flies through. Rocket Flare will give the vision. Carl, he's having such a rough time trying to get out of this, as Moon will not leave him alone, but Carl able to get out in the end. And look at that, John. Gabby now has an Eye of Skadi up. Things suddenly get a lot more intimidating here for SMG.
Got a lot more bite here on the Terrorblade. Gabby's done a great job of keeping up in farm. Moon only 1k ahead, not the biggest lead in the world for the Kotl, and mid one's starting to lag behind that Terrorblade now with all the space Gabby's been given. Skadi's still a big timing. It does feel like without the defensive item, you can still kind of find angles onto Gabby. So you still have a good way of just maybe hookshotting through again, get the cogs off, battery assault to prevent anything, and you can still whittle him down with Illuminate. You can still kind of deal with him with the Drow doing damage from further away. It does feel like this is a good launching point now for T1. They need a little bit more, unless SMG kind of plays in a bad position. So far, again, being very defensive. They've not been overextending. They've just been very patient. They're waiting out that next Roshan. Afu just standing in a Roche pit right now, giving some vision. And for T1, it's just a constant farm game. Gabby is queuing up a BKB. Again, still pretty far off for the build-up here.
It certainly is. It's going to take a bit more time. Mid one working towards that that Hurricane Pike for himself in the Drow. Even finding a very nice enchanted quiver, but not going to keep it for himself.
Isn't that pretty?
You start to question them. These kind of drafts from SMG, right? Like, they do start to falter once you get later on in the game. The Moon, bot lane once again, going to find a target for himself, being Cuckoo, who will just soul a Guardian out of there. So that's one way to do it here for the Dawnbreaker.
I will remember you in my celebration.
Salve, not going to be cancelled either. Right click was following, but a nice blink away.
Yeah, let's get sit back and regen back once more. That is the Solar Guardian gone. That is a minute and a half without that spell, as Roshan is up as well. So SMG could look for that pick off and go into the bit right after. Gabby could be a nice one again.
Get the D-Ward off. Gabby was not spotted there on the TB, so he's going to be fine to back his way out. In SMG, they are playing it smart, John. They've waited for Roshan. Roshan now available. All they've got to do is take that Roshan and go back high ground. They've still got a great spike going. They are still the much stronger team here with this draft.
Still at that point where the Drow is very much relevant. You've got a refresh up and raging. We've seen the impact of Moon's Hex as well. And he is going into the Dagons now, knowing that there aren't really any early BKBs to mitigate that. Roche given freely towards SMG. Roche number 2 going their way. T1 not playing that area, just trying to find what farm they can, shoving the bot lane a little bit, not giving that angle open for the super creep, so you're going to have to work a lane here for SMG to get into the high ground. But mid is exposed, mid racks are at the ready. Top, nothing outside left to protect. And for SMG now, it's just how much can you get out with this Aegis? Because last time we saw this, again, Carl did a great job on the puck and just stalling out, getting good Dream Coil, baiting them in. SMG has to stay disciplined on the siege, Mike.
See what they can get done. T1. So you're going to be looking for an opening here from SMG. Again, Arfu still doesn't have a blink up, John, so you can't rely on the overgrowth. Instead, SMG, they're going to try and chip away at the rack slowly here with mid one. They will smoke up from the backside. Just let mid one be the bait. He's got double lives anyway. Whitemon gonna go for a rebound into the dispose. Doesn't even go for the rebound. Just a blink in. Doesn't get the dispose either. But Carl is gonna make the jump in for a moment. Again, just trying to chip away at the HP pools of SMG. Problem is they have a keeper of the line. Raging. Gonna be forced to BKB up as Cuckoo now gonna be chased down. Raging just deletes him along with Moon. Cuckoo just disappearing as Gabby is going to try and fight. The link is out, draining all his attack damage away. Gabby, he is tickling Raging Potato right now. They do take him out though. That'll be the Razor gone, but Cuckoo will die a second time. SMG, they'll take the mid-racks. Only losing Raging Potato. They've still got the Aegis up. They'll go for a third.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, and that's Metamorphosis down, and Terrorblade not too much time left. No Solar Guardian to worry about, no kisses. Dream Coil is there, but the follow-up doesn't feel like it's going to be there necessarily.
Trying to protect Gabby, make sure he does remain safe, but the Metamorphosis is about to wear off, John. He's running out of options here. They have not got a fight to go their way. Zephyr now being slowed up by the Solar Bind, and look at Parlay die right in onto the Terrorblade with the cogs out, but they are kind of ignoring him. They won't go for Gabby. They just want the Megas. It's a very safe play from mid one. Perfectly fine though if they do get away with the Mega Creeps to just play this one conservatively. They don't want to have one of those situations happen again. This is the puck. Gonna be used up. Nice gust out from mid one. Hook shot in. Parlay die. He found the Terrorblade again. Gabby needs a Sunder target. We'll get one off onto Arfu, and he's gonna be able to survive for now, but so will Arfu. Unless Zephyr can finish the job, but cannot. Arfu's gonna be alright. They have not got Megas, but they've got them pretty close, John. Just one more range racks to go.
I love seeing this from SMG, Mike. Very disciplined. They're not getting overconfident in the high ground push. They pay respects to the fact that T1's full roster is back up. Not too much time left for that next set of kisses. And they still have a lot of time in Aegis. Still 2 minutes left for mid one. So you can just take this time to reset the entire team. Go back in. Look for the cleanup. And kind of start to spell the end. T1 in a very tough position. They can shove the waves out decently enough with the puck and the TB, and your supports do have some wave clear. At the very least, Zephyr does have some, and Cuckoo has a little bit as well. But they're going to need a couple of team fights back-to-back to kind of swing it their way. And with how SMG's playing, with the discipline they're showing us this time around, I don't know if that opportunity will open up for T1. It's just becoming a funnel into Gabby, hope for the best for Gabby. He does have the BKB up, though. So maybe your Terrorblade starts to feel a little bit more secure. We saw that earlier on. Didn't really find the best opportunity to use that spell immunity. And you always have a little bit more at the very least. As the smoke on smoke is here.
See how they go. Only one buyback on the map right now, and that's Parlay die. Whitemon jumping in, but immediately bursted down. Raging. Force the BKB and run. Mid one, very far forward. Hookshot is there from Parlay die, but now the overgrowth has been committed and Raging. He'll move in to try and get some damage out onto Gabby, but Gabby, he's going to man fight back. Raging is not taking much damage at all. Gabby, he's the one in trouble. Oh, he is just melting. And GG's called. SMG, this time around, very disciplined. Do not throw the game back the way of T1. And John, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Moon, he played this game perfectly on the coddle. Absolutely brilliant.
Moon played really well. That's a nice smiley in the background of Raging Potato, as he is a very happy guy with a green screen. And for SMG, you know, we heard the players. We heard what Raging said they had to do. They had to be a little bit more disciplined coming into the series. They had to do a little bit more, you know, not get overconfident, because it felt like SMG's worst enemy was themselves. They play a perfect game. They play very smoothly, very calculated. They push the aggression still. It's still the SMG we know. They run around, they find those kills. They found that really good first blood earlier on, but they play relatively safe in lane, and they just work that advantage. And T1, you know, they love playing defensively. They didn't have the lineup to really hold the towers. Carl went off to a slower start, as you mentioned, because of Moon, and it felt like with Carl getting that slower start, they didn't have the opening. They didn't get a quick blink timing to catch out the Drow, and that made mid one just very comfortable to join in and get these pushes and team fights going their way.
No, they really did run their spike perfectly right on the side of SMG. And the point was as well, they didn't slow down either. They kept the net worth lead going the whole game as well, and it really did pay off. We'll see what they get done for game number 2, though. There is going to be a very slight break, and right after that slight break, we're going to be back with our panel for game 2's draft. See you then.